Welcome to today's explainer. Right out of the gate, we're going to completely shatter the outdated stereotype of the obvious phone scammer. You know the one, some stranger calling out of the blue, aggressively demanding your credit card details reading from a clunky, unnatural script. Yeah, forget that image entirely. What we're dealing with today is a highly sophisticated, meticulously planned digital heist. We're going to break down exactly how these operations work, step by step, using the latest data and research. So get ready, because the modern phone scam is an absolute masterclass in psychological manipulation.
I mean, we all like to think we're way too smart to get scammed, right? But honestly, ask yourself, would you recognize a scam if your phone screen displayed your actual bank's real phone number? Or what if you picked up and it was your daughter's exact voice on the other end, crying out for help? Modern criminals, they don't just ask for money anymore. They manufacture this flawless, immersive environment of trust. And as we're about to see, this illusion is just terrifyingly effective.
£576.4 million. Let that number sink in for a second. In 2025, total UK payment fraud hit an unbelievable £1.28 billion. But out of that massive total, this specific slice, over £500 million, was lost strictly to what's known as authorized push payment, or APP fraud. The stakes here are absolutely massive. We're not talking about petty theft anymore. This is an organized industrial-scale extraction of wealth happening right under our noses. So, looking at the data from UK Finance, telecommunications remain a massive entry point for all this. Now, here's the crazy part. While only 17% of app fraud cases actually started through telecom networks, those specific cases accounted for 28% of the total financial losses. What does that tell us? Well, it tells us that even if a phone-led scam is slightly less common than, say, a mass online phishing email, the intense, real-time psychological manipulation yields devastatingly high-value thefts. Basically, when they get you on the phone, they drain you for a whole lot more. To really wrap our heads around the sheer scale of this battlefield, consider this. Telecom regulator Ofcom reports that providers are actively blocking more than 600 million scam messages every single year. 600 million! Yet despite that giant digital wall, 4 in 10 UK mobile users still received at least one suspicious message during a 3-month period. The criminals are literally throwing everything they have at the wall because they know that all it takes is a tiny fraction of a percent to slip through, and they've made millions.
Section 1. Anatomy of an attack. Mapping the heist.
There's this absolutely terrifying contrast at play in a modern scam. On one side, you have what the victim sees, the official caller ID of their bank, or maybe the local police, and genuine security prompts on their trusted device. It feels entirely safe and normal. But on the other side, that's the terrifying reality of what the criminal actually controls: a spoofed internet protocol, reams of your breached personal data, and a completely manufactured crisis. For financial institutions, this is the ultimate nightmare scenario. The technical instruction to move the money is totally genuine. The victim is using their own phone, passing security checks, but the decision-making environment has been entirely fabricated by a criminal orchestrating the whole show. So how does it actually go down? It's a precise 4-step playbook. Step 1 often happens before the phone even rings. A text message claiming a parcel is delayed or a tax payment is overdue. Clicking that link just confirms to the scammer that your number is active and you're a receptive target. Then, step 2. They call you using a highly credible pretext. Thanks to massive data breaches, the caller already knows your address, your employer, maybe even a partial card number. Step 3 is where the trap snaps shut. The manufactured, controlled crisis. They'll tell you your account is under attack right now, and to protect your money, you have to act immediately. And finally, step 4. Once you authorize that transfer, the money vanishes instantly through this incredibly complex web of mule accounts and crypto services.
Section 2. Weapons of mass deception. The high-tech toolkit. Look, we've all been trained to trust what pops up on our phone screens, right? Well, caller ID spoofing totally weaponizes that exact trust. It allows a criminal sitting literally anywhere in the world to make an incoming call look like it's coming from a local landline, a recognized business, or even your personal bank. The displayed number is just presentation data. It is absolutely not proof of origin. The scammer will even confidently tell the victim, hey, go ahead and check the number on the back of your debit card. It matches the one I'm calling from. It creates this brilliant but entirely false independent verification that completely locks the victim into the illusion. Now here's where things get straight out of a sci-fi movie. AI voice cloning and automated vishing. Generative AI systems can now take just a tiny, short, public recording from social media, maybe a video of a CEO speaking or a quick clip of your relative laughing on Instagram, and produce a highly convincing synthetic clone of their voice.
It is perfectly suited for those dreaded family emergency scams or executive impersonation scams. And the craziest part? The criminal doesn't even need a perfect studio-quality replica. Why? Because the call is designed to be brief, highly emotional, and they usually mask any audio quirks with fake background noise or a bad signal.
Our sources hit the nail on the head here, warning that artificial intelligence changes the economics of voice fraud. This is fundamentally about automation, guys. AI voice agents can now initiate thousands of calls simultaneously, maintain basic back-and-forth conversations, figure out which targets are actually falling for it, and then seamlessly escalate only the promising cases to human operators. It drastically, and I mean drastically, reduces the cost of failed attempts. Criminals can just test out different accents, different scripts, and different emotional triggers at a massive, automated scale.
Okay, you might be thinking, don't banks have strong defenses? What about those one-time passcodes? Well, criminals bypass those technical measures by simply manipulating you. They might call, claiming to be tech support, and literally walk you through installing remote access software yourself. Or they'll trigger a genuine passcode from your bank to your phone and calmly say, okay, I'm sending you a secure code to cancel the fraudulent transaction. Just read it back to me. You think you're stopping fraud, but you are actually authorizing their payment. By leveraging your panic and, honestly, our general authentication fatigue, they completely blur the line between you being defrauded and you just handing over the keys to your account.
Section 3. An industrial scam machine, scaling the operation. So why exactly do these phone scams scale so incredibly well? Well, first off, infrastructure commoditization. Criminals can easily rent SIM farms, automated dialers, and bulk messaging tools on the cheap without ever building a physical call center. Second is specialization. These aren't lone wolves, they are highly compartmentalized organizations. One group steals the data, another sends the texts, a specialized crew works the phones, and entirely separate managers run the money mule networks. They have rapid feedback loops, immediately adopting their scripts based on which banks try to intervene. They use cross-border reach to obscure funds across different international jurisdictions. And finally, they reuse trust. Once they've compromised you, they'll target you again a few weeks later with a recovery scam, pretending to be the fraud investigators helping you get your lost money back. It's truly ruthless.
Section 4. Building a resilient defense. Stopping the money. Fighting back? It absolutely requires what we call a multi-layered control stack. At the telecom layer, providers must aggressively identify spoofed calls and trace them across networks. For secure verification, banks have to give customers a reliable, independent callback channel to terminate unsolicited calls safely. Then there's behavioral detection. Banks need to connect the dots in real time. Like, is a customer making a massive payment while simultaneously on a long phone call with remote access software active? Yeah, that's a huge red flag. Furthermore, banks need typology-specific interventions. Not just a generic, "Are you sure?" pop-up, but a specific, clear warning that says, the police will never ask you to move money to a safe account. Finally, receiving account intelligence is vital. You have to monitor rapid pass-throughs to dismantle the mule networks entirely.
So what actually happens when a scam is detected? Honestly, speed is everything to stop or recall the payment. But the job doesn't end there. You have to secure the victim's wider digital identity. Their email, their registered devices, their recovery info, it all might be compromised. You must treat the receiving accounts as intelligence leads to track the broader network, rather than just marking the case closed. And crucially, investigators must use a non-accusatory approach. Remember, these victims have been heavily, psychologically coached by the criminals to lie to the bank tellers. Coming at them with compassion rather than accusation is literally the only way to break the spell and preserve crucial evidence.
For the folks fighting financial crime, the ultimate goal isn't just playing whack-a-mole with a specific accent or blocking a single flagged telephone number, because let's face it, the scammers will just change those by tomorrow morning. Real success means recognizing and interrupting the underlying sequence. Institutions must break that chain of manufactured urgency and identity manipulation before the manufactured trust is converted into an irreversible payment. Fraud, cybersecurity, and telecom partners have to share intelligence seamlessly to make this a reality.
Which brings us to a pretty intense thought to leave you with. As these digital heists keep evolving, and as AI makes the perfect illusion cheaper and easier to deploy, when technology can perfectly manufacture a familiar voice and an official phone number, how will you verify who is really on the other end of the line? It's a question we all need a personal protocol for. Establish a safe word with your family. Never, ever trust an inbound call asking for money or codes, no matter what the caller ID says. Just hang up,
find the official number yourself and call them back. Stay focused, stay skeptical, and keep your defenses up. Thanks for joining me on this explainer.